Let me ask you a question. How much of your time do you spend protecting yourself? Now, the reason why I ask you this is because so many people spend so much of their time protecting themselves, staying in their comfort zone to protect themselves from the discomfort of physicality, emotional discomfort, social discomfort, and relational discomfort. Here's the problem with that. What we do to protect ourselves eventually becomes our prison. So we stay in our comfort zones because we inherently want protection. We don't want to feel in danger. But what if I told you your protection eventually becomes your prison? Now, that's not really a problem if the purpose of your life is self-preservation, meaning your only goal is to stay alive. That means you're living a life of self-preservation. However, my guess is if you're watching this, you don't want to settle for a life of self-preservation. You want a life of self-realization. Now, when you live a life of self-realization, your goal isn't to just stay alive. Your goal is to thrive. Your goal is to be happy, be fulfilled, and contribute to the betterment of other people. But most of us live a life of self-preservation, but desire a life of self-realization. So if you want a life of self-realization, here's what you need to know. Oh, by the way, I made this for you.
No, I don't want it.
Oh, it's for you. It's organic. You can drink it. So for a life of self-realization, keep Brené Brown's words in mind. She has said, he or she who's willing to be the most uncomfortable is not only the bravest, but also rises the highest. What's Brené Brown mean by that? Well, who better to tell you what she meant than me? I think what she means by that is when you're willing to get the most uncomfortable by rising the highest, she means we get genuinely the happiest, the most fulfilled. So here's a secret that super freaking successful people that live a life of joy know that you and I definitely want to know. Happiness isn't found inside your comfort zone. Safety is, a sense of I'm not afraid. That's what's inside of our comfort zone. But living a life of I'm not afraid is far different than happy. I would dare say you can only be as happy as you allow yourself to get afraid. Here's why. We have to go outside of our comfort zone to get happy. We have to grow to get happy, and you can't grow if you stay in your comfort zone. But when you leave your comfort zone, now you're growing. And some would say you gotta grow to be happy. But here's the challenge with that. You're outside of your comfort zone. So if you're outside of your comfort zone, even though you might be getting happy, do you realize you have to get afraid? Because it's uncomfortable. So maybe by definition, what all the successful people know that you and I definitely want to know is you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone to grow, and you have to be willing to be afraid to get out of your comfort zone to grow, which means you have to be willing to get afraid to get outside of your comfort zone to grow in order to be happy. Now, let me tell you a little story about my life. Calcium, bro. I look at the great blessings I have in my life that bring me the most joy, fulfillment, income to an extent for some of these, but they are doing stand-up comedy, making YouTube videos, and my marriage with my wife. Here's the scary thing. Each one of those things, stand-up comedy, YouTube videos, meeting my wife, dating her, telling her how I felt about her, marrying her, all of those things were incredibly uncomfortable for me. I had to go through unimaginable fear, like the first time getting on stage to do a stand-up comedy show, or the first time putting out a YouTube video, everybody's gonna hate me, and I sometimes have eggs on my hands and they won't think my videos are funny. Or approaching my wife, being like, hey, I really like you. That's how terrible my dating mind is. When I like a girl, I'm like, I really like you. So I had to get very uncomfortable doing these things that have become my greatest sources of joy and fulfillment, which meant I had to be willing to get very scared because I was going outside of my comfort zone. But here's the cool thing. When you and I go outside of our comfort zone, we are literally expanding ourselves. So when I look at the expansion these beautiful things have given to me, I realize my greatest blessings have come when I've gotten the most uncomfortable. And personally, I believe it's the same for you. You might say, well, JP, I have a lack of blessings. I would say what you really have is a lack of willingness to get out of your comfort zone and get uncomfortable. Like Brene Brown said, that's what will allow you to rise the highest. There's no one that has a lack of blessings. I think only people that have a lack of willingness to get out of their comfort zone and get uncomfortable. So I don't think it's just me. I think all of us, our greatest blessings come when we get the most uncomfortable. And if you do have great blessings in your life that you can count, I'd ask you to reverse engineer those and look at what discomfort did you have to be willing to go into in order to give rise to the greatest blessing. Because I think when you can reverse engineer what you've already done and celebrate it, it trains you how to do it even more going into the future so you can create even more blessings for your life. So here's what I want to ask you to consider and take action on. Maybe the only thing you have to protect yourself from is your own protection. Assuming you live in a first world country, maybe that's the deal. Maybe the temptation to protect yourself is really what now you have to protect yourself from. And when you can do that, I dare say you get to free yourself from the prison that you've created out of your own protection. Bro, are you seriously not going to drink that?
No.
I'll have it. It's like green juice. And then the second thing I'm going to ask you to do is the next time you have the impulse to take action on a feeling of aliveness or excitement, even if there's a lot of fear in there, but if there's simply a drop of excitement or aliveness, I'd ask you to take action on that impulse. Now, will it be scary? Yes. Will it take you out of your comfort zone? Yes. Will it help you grow? Yes. Will it likely bring blessings into your life? I would dare say if it's a feeling of aliveness, excitement, passion that you're acting on, even if there's fear there, it will absolutely bring blessings into your life. I think if you can do that and have the courage to take action on your feelings rather than protect yourself from the actions that your feelings are trying to motivate you to do, if you can do that, you'll be shattering your comfort zone and living a life of expansion, happiness, fulfillment, and contribution.